we have Samford head coach Scott Padgett and senior guards Brandon Austin and Josh Sharkey. When anybody asks a question, just raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. Coach, if you could open some of your thoughts on the game, then we'll open up for questions.
I thought we had a really slow start on both ends, defensively and offensively. I thought, we set the tone probably for how the first half was anyway. I think their first 3 threes that they hit, there's probably nobody in the area code with them, and made them feel good. It made them feel good, and all of a sudden that rim looks bigger, and they see one guy, and it becomes contagious. One guy's starting to hit them, then I feel good about it because we got a lead, and next thing you know, a team, and they shoot a lot of threes, and we knew that coming in. They didn't really shoot that many more. They just made a lot more than they normally do. But what I would say is who we were in the second half is how this team was built to be, but to be honest, we just couldn't be that most of the year, the pressing team that we wanted to be and running and all that, because we've had injuries during preseason, couldn't practice the press. We've had injuries during the year, couldn't practice the press. We actually, the one thing I would say we got good out of the Hawaii trip was we got down and we went to the press, and I felt like we could go to it because we did a good job in it at Hawaii at the end of the game. So I told them I'm super proud of the team in the second half, because when I see my team, I see them as the way we built it was like, we're the guys, the rabid dogs coming to get after you, and I hadn't seen it really this year, and that's who I thought we were in the second half. After I thought we played no disrespect to anybody, but I think we really, really respected them. We were worried about them beating us off the drive. We're playing 3 feet off of them, and they're making threes, and I think we just said in the second half, we got to go get after them and let the chips fall where they may. And if they beat us by 40, we're going to at least play our hardest. And our guys showed a lot of fight. And to be honest, like I said, we haven't got to practice a lot. So I thought we fought back and cut it there to 7 or 8 or whatever. And I think we ran out of a little gas to be able to finish off. We had about 3 or 4 threes there in the last 5 minutes that we hit to get back in it, but we were a little short, just a little short, or rimmed one out that maybe could have really made the difference. And then you got to give them credit. They finished the game off like you're supposed to finish it off. They hit a couple big shots. They got a couple offensive rebounds. They made their free throws. And, like I say, they're a good team. And we knew that, like I say, there was 5 guys coming in the game that were shooting almost 5 to almost 7 threes a game. So that's what they like to do. I just felt like we let them get going early, and then once that happened, they hit probably 5 or 6 with a hand in their face. So I've seen Petty since high school, so we recruited his teammate here for a while, and so you know who he is. When he's hot, you're in trouble. When he's not, he might help you out. So tonight was definitely a hot night. What did he finish with? 39. Pretty good. But like I say, just really proud of our guys that we just didn't lay down, and we went out there and fought and made a run. And that team right there, I saw in the second half. I feel like if that team comes to play, we'll be really good in the Southern Conference.
We'll start off with questions for the student athletes, and then questions for Coach.
This is for Brandon. Was this kind of a special game for you?
Yeah, it was real special because I was in school I started out at. Hey, I still got love for the school. Hey, yeah, I feel like it was a real big game.
Any question?
Josh, in terms of a confidence builder, you guys hung right in there with a SEC team that's probably going to be pretty good by the end of the year. What does that mean to you?
It's huge for us. Like Coach said, I think we showed a lot of fight in the second half. I think if we continue to play like the way we did in the second half, we'll be fine in the Southern Conference. You got to just tip your hat off to Alabama. They, like Coach said, how many threes? 17 threes. You got to tip your hat off to them. They're a good team. I thought we fought hard, and they just made more shots than us tonight.
Other questions for the players? Thanks, guys. Questions for Coach Padgett?
Yeah.
Coach,
to start off the second half there. The press really got to Alabama. It seemed. What did you see in the first half that let you know that your team was ready to press and that Alabama could be susceptible?
What I saw was we didn't have a lot of energy, so I was trying to get us going, to be honest with you. I think we're a team that, like, I wish it wasn't necessarily like that all the time, but I think sometimes we're a team that, like, when we can get on a roll, we can really get on a roll. And I thought that was a way that maybe we could get ourselves going, was to go to the press, try to get some turnovers, get some easy buckets, because you got numbers down there when you get the turnover. And they're not back set up, 5 guys, staring at us. So, I mean, there was nothing that Alabama did that said, oh, they're going to turn this thing over. It was me saying, what I got to do to try to get my team, get their energy level up, try to get a spark or something. And like I say, the biggest thing that made me want to go to the press was in the last, 7-8 minutes of the Hawaii game, we went to the press, and we hadn't met to a man-to-man press probably in, since probably our first 2 or 3 games. Because we did well at Hawaii, I said, well, maybe it's something that can get us going. I turned to the assistant coach and said, what do you think? I know this sounds crazy because they're scoring a lot, and if they beat the press, it could. But I felt like if we really got something, if we could get after them, maybe it could get us going, and it did a little.
Coach, how difficult is it to match up with John Petty? And you called a quick timeout after he hit 3 threes early. What were you trying to change?
Well, to be honest with you, I probably should have called it after the first one, when the play that they called was a play we went over and shoot around and we're 20 feet off of him when he catches the ball. I probably should have called it then, because one of the big things we talked about was, and his percentage is really good, but I still think Petty's that guy that gets really, really hot when he gets hot. We watched him, I think it was the North Carolina game, where like he kept him in the game with his shooting. And it's one of those things, don't give him, that was a big part of what we talked about, is don't give him an open look early. If you make his first couple challenge and he's missing, it could affect him in a negative way. If you make the first couple open, it could affect him in a major positive way. And obviously, he hit, 10 tonight? So we let the first 2, I think, were just wide open. The third one, we got a little better hand up, but we had already let him get going by then. And I think to be honest with you, I think we did the same thing with Reese. I think maybe halftime cooled him off or something, but he I think, was 4 for 6 in the first half. So both of those guys, we gave them some early open looks, and I think they hit 14 of the 17 threes, those 2 guys. So thought the other guys, we actually did a pretty good job of getting a hand up. And even Bolden, who I've known, he's from Kentucky, I've known him for a long time. I think he's a really good shooter, but I think he missed his first 3 because we challenged, and then he gets a wide open fourth, and now maybe that's in his head a little. That's what we needed to be on Petty and Reese in that first half, I think, to have a better result. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have still hit 3s, but maybe not 10 and 4. Maybe they're hitting 2 and 6. Which makes this a different game.